Hi guys, it's Risa. How you doing? So today I'm excited to teach you how to make one of my favorite soups. I love this soup, especially in the fall weather and the cold weather, although you can have it all year round. So are you wondering what it is? It's my butternut squash soup. So easy peasy, ridiculously easy recipe, okay? I bought my squash at Costco because for two huge squash, $4.49, and it's not by the pound. So you can buy it already cubed. I used to do that, but for that price, you can't go wrong. You can use chicken stock, homemade, or you can buy your own. And you're going to need fresh garlic. I like a lot of garlic, so I'm using 2 bulbs of garlic and about 5 green onions, the green part, some salt, some pepper, and that is it. Okay, easy peasy. So the first thing I did was I roasted my squash. Okay, so it took about an hour and 20 minutes or so. I just cooked it whole, and then I cut it in half, and then I let it just cook for another about 15-20 minutes so it's nice and soft. And if you already buy it cubed and it's hard, that's okay too. We'll get to that afterwards. Okay, so basically, after you've cooked your squash, you're going to peel it, and so I have it on a tray like this, and I've already peeled it, and it took all the seeds out. Okay, so just be careful. You want to get all the seeds, and there's quite a bit. Okay, so put that down. And what I've been doing, just so that I make this quick and easy, is I took my garlic. Now I use just some cooking spray, or you can use some olive oil spray. Whatever you choose to use is fine. And on a medium heat, I take my garlic, so I let it get hot, like on a medium high heat, and I saute the garlic on both sides. I just want to show you so that it gets nice and brown, okay, on both sides. And then once that is done, I add the green onions. So I took about 5, I chop it up, and I'm going to show you that I'm just frying that up in my pot that I'm using, and it smells amazing. I like using green onions. You can use regular onion, Vidalia onion, but that's what I like. That's what I've always used, and I just love the flavor, okay? So because my squash is already cooked, it's just going to be easy for me to just puree it. If it isn't cooked, once this is done, you add the squash to the pan, and then add your other ingredients, which is really just your broth and your seasoning, okay? Or you can roast it as well, the cubed squash. Whatever you choose is just fine, okay? So, now, you know, I don't measure a lot of things, but we'll see as we go along how much I use. So I'm going to just add this because the garlic and the onions are sauteed. They're brown, they're fragrant, it smells amazing. So I'm just going to add all my squash. To my pan. You can hear it sizzle. And try to make sure you've got all the skin off. I'm just checking because I didn't do the greatest job peeling. There we go. All right. So we have this in. Here's the squash with the garlic. That is it. And the onions, of course. So depending on the size of the squash and how much you want to make, I'm making quite a bit because it's 2 huge squash. Okay, so I'm going to start off with 1 cup of broth. Now I just bought some chicken broth from Walmart. You can get it wherever. You can use your own if you make, or you can use water as well. So I'm using a cup. I'm definitely going to use more than a cup. I think now I'm going to add another cup. Yeah. All right. Now, I'm going to put in probably, let's see, I'm going to take a teaspoon of some kosher salt or whatever salt you have, sea salt, and then add some pepper. I'm just going to sprinkle some in. That's it. And then I'm going to use my hand blender. Okay, so I'm going to bring it over here to show you. Just blend it. So if you're using squash that hasn't been roasted, then you're going to add the broth to it and let it cook until it's soft. And then you're going to just blend everything together like I'm doing once it's soft. It's so easy. The one thing I love about this soup is you can freeze it and it's like 0 points depending on how much you eat, if you eat the whole thing. So for 1 cup is 25 calories, so I think it's 2 smart points for this whole recipe. I'm probably going to add a little bit more broth because it's pretty thick. So there. My tip to you guys is add a little broth at a time because you don't want it too watery, okay? Now some people add some nutmeg, some cinnamon. Other people have added some shredded apple. I've added apple before. It didn't really taste any different to me, but if you like a little bit of apple, you can. If you like a little bit of nutmeg, you can. This isn't what I do, but who knows? You may like that. So you have to play around with recipes. This is just a base, and see what you like, okay? So I'm just going to add a little bit more broth. So I had 2 cups. I'm going to add another half a cup. And I'm going to put it back on the heat. And the great thing is with the hand mixer, it will mix up all the onion and garlic, and it'll just all dissolve inside your soup. Now, if you don't have a hand mixer, you can use a blender or your bullet or whatever you do have, okay? It's still pretty thick, so I'm adding another half a cup. Because I don't want it like too thick. So that's 3 cups. Oh yeah, that looks much better. Because you want it to be a soup. You don't want it to be a stew unless you really, really, really love a thick soup. All right. I just want to show you that this is a beautiful pot of squash soup. When you serve it, you could just have some fresh chives or green onions to sprinkle on top would look really pretty, and it's very tasty. I'm just going to get a tablespoon out. Let's taste it. I love squash. It tastes so delicious and sweet. And it's great to have, obviously, for lunch, for dinner, as a side dish, even as a snack. It's fantastic because it's filling, it's nutritious, and I just love it. So I hope you like this recipe. Really easy. Again, let's just recap. You're going to roast your squash unless you buy it already cubed, and you can roast that. Make sure you take as much garlic as you like. I use 2 big bulbs of garlic. Get it brown on both sides. I used about 5 green onions. Chop it up little and add that once the garlic is all sauteed on both sides, because that flavor, that rich flavor of the garlic is going to really add to your soup. Add the squash once you've peeled it. Take all the seeds, put it in, or if it's cubed, add it in, and then you're going to blend it. Add your what do we call it? Oh my God, your broth. This is what happens when you're just doing it like this. So, anyways, this is what it is, people. When you're in your own kitchen, it's real. So use your broth. Add as much salt and pepper as you like. I rather use a little bit at a time because I don't like to use a lot of salt. You need it for some flavor, obviously, to bring out the flavor, but add a little bit at a time and taste it, okay? So I hope you love this recipe. Easy peasy, ridiculously easy. Remember that all my recipes are written under the video. Just click the arrow, and hopefully you have better luck than I do. And don't drop everything. And come visit me at Risa's Recipes and Weight Watchers Tips. Love you guys, and take care. Bye for now.